We breathe all the time. Even when we're not trying to breathe, we breathe. Even if we try to restrain from breathing, we still breathe. When we're sleeping, we breathe. So why are we doing a breathing practice when we're breathing all the time? And part of the reason why we're doing a breathing practice, even though we breathe all the time, is because we're not always breathing optimally. And especially now with the COVID attacking our respiratory system, we have our own ventilator right here. So let's get acquainted with that. Let's also learn how to breathe more optimally. So today, I want to share a couple of the foundational pieces. And then over the next few weeks, we'll build on that. But I want to make sure that we get that grounded first. So 2 things today, our physical posture and the abdominal breath. So let's start with our physical posture. Now, some of you may be sitting on the floor, and others of you may be sitting on a chair or a couch. So 2 guiding principles, whether you're on the floor or on a piece of furniture. You want to arrange your posture such that your spine is straight and vertical. Now, what that translates to is you want to elevate your hips. At least if you're sitting on the floor, you want to elevate your hips so they're at least as high as your knees. So sometimes the knees are like up like this. And what that means is you end up curving your spine. And number 1, it's not good for your back. But number 2, from the perspective of breath and energy, vital energy, that flows vertically through the torso. So it's kind of like a kinked garden hose. We don't want it kinked. We want it straight. So if your knees are up and you're on the floor, what that means is you need to support your sitting. You need to take a couple cushions or more, build enough height so that your knees are not higher than your hips. Now, ideally, I would check each of your postures, but because we're just doing 15 minutes, I'm going to defer that. If anybody's unsure, has questions, I'll stay after and we'll do a check and chat. And that way y'all can talk to each other, because right now I have everybody muted. So we'll do that part after. Now, if you're on the couch or a chair, it's a little more straightforward. Some of you may need to elevate your feet and just rest them on a cushion or a folded blanket if your lower back is uncomfortable if you're sitting on a chair. Right, so sitting posture, I think we've got that. And now what I want to do is introduce or reintroduce for folks who are familiar, who are already familiar, the foundational breathing practice, which is the abdominal breath. Now you may already be familiar, and that's fine. We're going to practice together, and I'm going to kind of stretch you in your practice, even if you're already familiar. Now, those of you not familiar, here's the mechanics. So you want to take one of your palms and cup it right over your belly button, okay? So this is just like training wheels while we're learning the technique. And then once you kind of get familiar, you won't have to do this. And the way that this works is, imagine that there's a big balloon inside your belly and it's expanding. And as it expands, it pushes that hand out when you inhale. And when you exhale, the hand comes in. So go ahead and try that. So as you inhale, you're expanding the belly, pressing that hand out. And as you exhale, the belly and the hand come back in. Now, it might feel a little awkward. Keep practicing that while I talk here. It might feel a little awkward because you're not used to it. But the reason why this is important is we often tend to breathe shallow, just with our chest, and you don't get as much breath in. And by breathing with the abdomen, you use more of your lung capacity, okay? So when the belly comes out, the diaphragm that separates the chest cavity and your abdomen lowers. That means there's more space in your chest cavity. That means your lungs can fill up more. So you're optimizing every single breath. So keep practicing. Inhale, belly out, pressing the hand out, and exhale, belly comes in. Okay, we're gonna build on this. So my goal is that next week, we're gonna add 2 more layers to this breath. So the abdominal breath is just one part of a 3-part yogic, full yogic breath. So if you can kind of practice this throughout the week, you'll have that in place. And then next week we'll add the other 2 parts and make it an even fuller breath. All right, so now here we are. The fire truck just went by. I don't know if you guys could hear that. So let's now take this another level or 2 further. So hopefully you guys are getting familiar with just even the mechanics, the belly out as you inhale and belly in as you exhale. So what I want to add now is a ratio. So see if, I'm going to count so you can kind of try to stay with me with the ratio here. But part of what helps us relax in our breath is having our exhalation be twice as long as our inhalation. So I'm going to count, and if it's too much of a count, just, if it's like too strenuous to stay with my count, just do your own pace. All right, so ready, everybody? So hand cupped on the belly button. If you need to help know where your belly is and what it's doing, if you're comfortable with what it's doing, you don't need to use your hand anymore. So ready? Inhale, belly out, expanding. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, belly comes back in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale out. 1, 2, 3. Exhale in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So keep going here for a minute. So now I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, because hopefully at this point you don't need to watch what I'm doing. And the reason is when our attention, with our eyes open, our attention goes outward, and that kind of agitates our mind, and that means our breath is wanting to be more active. And part of what we're trying to do here is to actually slow our breath down and make it more smooth. So by keeping the eyes closed, it's easy to kind of make that breath nice and gradual. Okay, so eyes closed if you're willing to. And again, inhale, belly comes out, and exhale, belly in. Inhale, belly out. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, belly in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll do a few more together. Inhale out. 1, 2, 3. Exhale, belly in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale out. Exhale in. Inhale out. Exhale in. So now keep going at your own pace, trying to do 2 things here. First of all, of course, practicing the expanding of the belly on your inhalation and belly coming in on your exhalation, trying to keep that ratio, roughly speaking, or at least, have your exhalation be longer than the inhalation. But one more thing that I want to add is challenge yourself how far you can extend your inhalation. Like, see how far you can go where you just can't go anymore. Okay, and then on your exhalation, see how far you can just pause. And you'll notice, if you pay attention, you'll notice that even though you thought you were done exhaling, there's just a little wisp of breath that's still seeping out. See if you can notice that and allow those last wisps of breath to completely be done, and then start your next inhalation. So we're bringing in awareness here, and we're trying to go for fullness, right? So fullness of the inhalation, fullness of the exhalation. Okay, so at your own pace. So inhale, belly expanding, seeing how far you can just expand that belly to inhale, and then start the exhalation. And then as far as all that breath that wants to seep out, once that's all seeped out, then start the inhalation. And just keep doing this a few more times on your own, and just notice the experience of breathing as you do this. And you may notice that you don't have to try to make your exhalations twice as long, because those last wisps of breath actually take a little while. And that kind of naturally makes your exhalations longer. And you want to get rid of that impure air from your lungs through that more complete exhalation, so that you can take in a nice fresh breath. All right, this is awesome. So I invite you to practice this, integrate this practice throughout the week, throughout your day. We're just meeting at noon on Wednesdays, noon Pacific. So maybe set your phone so that you practice it at least once a day, or you might choose a time that's built into your schedule. Maybe in the morning, right when you wake up, decide you're going to take 3 full abdominal breaths, or right before you go to bed, or both. Even throughout your day, you can set your alarm to ring every hour and check how you're breathing. Take a few abdominal breaths, because every single breath can be abdominal. And like I said, next week we're going to build on this abdominal breath, add 2 more layers, so that we're practicing an even more full breath. Okay, well, that's our practice for today. Just giving thanks for the fact that we have this amazing respiratory system right here with us. So hopefully we're going to strengthen it, breathe more optimally. We're going to stay healthy. And those of you who want to stay on to chat with each other, or for me to check your breathing technique or your sitting posture, feel free to stay on. And the rest of you, save your Zoom link and password so that you have it for next week. And I'll see you all next week. Lots of love. Namaste. Blessings.